Welcome back to Slothbox. I'm Lyndon Dixon, joined by the man, Jordan Gill. Jordan, how are you, mate?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
Not too bad. Firstly, how was your Christmas?
Oh, it was wicked. Yeah, really fat. Loads of food. Chilled out with the family, and yeah, relax.
Perfect, mate. Look, I don't want to mess about. We're going to get straight into it. Your last fought in December, it was a step-up fight against world level Kiko Martinez. Just talk us through your version of events. What went wrong that night, mate?
A number of things. At the end of the day, I just weren't good enough on the night, and the better man won. You can sit around and make loads of excuses, and you know yourself what you did wrong, and after watching it back, what you could have done better. Um, and certain things that you do in preparation you can improve on. So for me, it's about putting that all into place and making sure that I don't get it wrong again. Yeah, I just wasn't good enough on the night.
Hmm. I spoke to Dave Caldwell the other day, and he said that a big thing for you he feels is weight, and like that's probably why you should be moving up soon. Do you think that maybe the weight had a factor to play in terms of your punch resistance on the night?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've struggled the last two fights with punch resistance, as you've seen. So, all through my life, all through my career, I've never been buzzed or rocked or anything. And, it's starting to take its toll. And I box heavier now, lighter now than I did when I was 13 years old. When I was 13, I boxed at 60 kilos and featherweight's 57. So, it's like 6 pounds lighter than what I was when I was 13. I'm 28 now. And it's just, you grow in, you're developing, and you can only do it for so long before something's got to give, and you're only ever going to find out the hard way.
Exactly that. But like I said, I did speak to Dave the other day, and he said, although at the time it was a shit night and everything, and everyone was gutted for you, you just got to move on. Is that the mentality now? 2023, cliche, but new year, new Jordan.
Yeah. What else can you do? You can sit around and sulk and feel sorry for yourself, but what good does it do you? No one really gives a fuck, do they? No one gives a fuck about you. It's probably only your immediate friends and family that actually care for what you do. You know, so for me, I know where I want to get, and I know what I need to do to get there. So you gotta, put one foot in front of the other and crack on.
We mentioned earlier about moving up to super feather. So is that the plan? Like, what is the plan for this year? Because obviously, like you said, you want to change a few things. What is the plan for 2023?
The plan for me is get active and get back in the ring. I'm back in the gym, this year. Been working hard. Things have come together a little bit. Getting the old cobwebs off. Had a little bit of time off, so you're always going to be a little bit rusty to start with. But I'd like to fight maybe April, end of March, April time. In a good fight, maybe 8 or 10 rounder, to get the flow back, test the weight out, and then I'm open to the big fights, whatever fights. I know, there's fights out there like Isaac Lowe. That that fight, everybody wants to see that fight. Eddie wants to see that fight, and he's been calling me out. So that's a fight to be made. I think that's a great fight. I mean, he said that he's happy to do 130, so we can have a little grudge match at
Mhm.
130, and then look on to the big names.
You mentioned his name, mate, and it was my next question. Isaac Lowe. I feel like it's been rumbling on for a couple of years now. What is going on there? What is the problem there?
I don't know. I just think he's a muppet, and wow, I think everybody thinks he's a muppet, and everyone's just begging for me to hit him. And there's nothing I'd like more. He said, "Oh, where are you? We want to fight." And when we wanted that fight, where was he? He didn't want to know. He was happy fighting on Fury's undercard. So, you know, uh, that's a fight that I've always wanted. It's a fight that's been talked about for a long time. I don't think we don't like each other. He doesn't. He definitely doesn't like me. I'm not too keen on him. I can't say I hate him because I don't hate anyone, but I just think he's a knobhead, and I'd like to fill him in.
Well, mate, moving on from that, someone did get filled in at the weekend, Chris Eubank, um, inside 4 rounds by Liam Smith. Was that a surprise to you?
I don't think the result was a surprise. I think maybe the manner in the defeat was was a surprise to many. I thought, Eubank is renowned for having a good chin, renowned for his toughness, just like his old man. And you know, as soon as he got hit, he got buzzed in the first round, and taken out. Was it the fourth round he got taken out? So he pretty much got smashed to bits. And these things happen. But I'm sure he might have made mistakes in his preparation, but you can't take anything away from Liam Smith because Liam Smith doesn't get the credit that he deserves. He's a proper fighter. He's a proper pro. And like I know he's been beat, but everyone at world level gets beat, and he boxed Canelo, and he's actually given Canelo a very good fight until he got finished with a body shot. So people will just look at the results that he's had and not look at the quality, and you think you've got to be a very very good fighter to beat Liam Smith. And he was dead up for that fight. So I watched like the highlight video earlier on of Liam Smith. Sorry, my voice going. Liam Smith, where you see the ring walk. He's standing in front of 20,000 people. His tunes are blasting. He's walking out, enjoying himself, and he just went and smashed Chris Eubank Jr. in 4 rounds. You just think, I know he's had kids and been married and stuff, but that's got to be one of the best days of his life.
Easy, that's the thing. But in terms of Chris Eubank, I saw like Eddie Hearn saying that he weren't surprised like yourself. But the questions are now: is the Eubank Ben fight the same size now that Eubank's been beaten such a fashion?
Um, I think it is. I maybe not quite. If it was 100% before, then maybe it'd be a 90 or 95. I don't think it's you know completely gone out the window because at the end of the day, it's a big fight because of their names. It's Eubank, Ben, like the next generation in it. So, it's still a big fight. I mean, you can't say just because Liam Smith beat Eubank in that fashion that Conor Ben would, because I don't think they'd put Conor Ben in with Liam Smith. So, well, I'd be surprised if they did, but I don't know. Styles make fights. I think that fight can still be built and still be a massive fight. And it's a fight I'd like to see still.
Talking of fights we'd like to see, in the past couple of weeks, I'm sure you've enjoyed it. Usyk and Fury, the little videos back and forth. I'm loving it, mate. But the thing is Usyk going to be the man to give Fury his first loss? Tell me.
Who knows?
Mm,
This this is boxing. Anything can happen. And if there's anyone that could beat Fury, I think it is Usyk. And I know everyone says about the size of Fury, and that's what makes him so hard to beat. But every advantage is a disadvantage, and I feel like if Usyk boxed Fury, he'd play his part well. I think he'd make himself small and make Fury's size, you know, put it against Fury. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure. It's a very good fight. I think pound for pound, if they're both the same size, I think Usyk's a better fighter. I think skill for skill, his boxing ability, his boxing brain, his ring IQ, ring generalship. Um, I think he's second to none. His punch selection, his flow, his footwork. I don't think anyone would match him, especially up at that weight. But you know, if you got a 20 stone guy and Tyson Fury leaning all over you, fighting on the inside, he does very well, which he's underrated at. He finds them uppercuts out of nowhere when he's leaning all over you, and chipping away to the body. He might wear Usyk down, but time will tell, and that's the magic of boxing, isn't it? No one really knows until you get in there. So there's only one way to find out.
well, just to switch it up a little bit, I've got some quick fire questions. They're fantasy fights, fighters from different generations that we didn't get to see in the ring together, but equally, the prospect of it is interesting. The first one, Sugar Ray Leonard versus Mayweather. Who wins?
Mayweather,
Why?
because you could put May in his prime, you put Mayweather with anyone, I think he would find a way. He's just that. He's got something about him. He's just magic, and some, I don't still. I know he's retired now, and what he's doing exhibitions and stuff, but he doesn't get the credit he deserves. He was so good. He'd just beat anyone because put anyone in front of him, he'll beat him. I think stylistically. Tommy Ernst probably would have given him more trouble. And then at lightweight, probably Roberto Duran as well. But they're all magic fights, and they're all fights that you'd love to see, but we never will. And I can sit here and say maybe we would have beat them all, but who knows?
Muhammad Ali against Mike Tyson, both in their prime.
Ali, and I think there's videos of Tyson being asked that same question. And even Tyson, I know he's being humble, but even Tyson said Ali. I just think he had the brains and the boxing ability to nullify Tyson's aggression and strength and skills as well. And I think he would have chipped away at him.
People have found this next one a bit more difficult. Lennox Lewis, Tyson Fury.
Lennox Lewis.
Why?
Well, just watch him, mate. He doesn't. He's one of them. Like, no one really talks about Lennox Lewis at the moment. Like, it's weird if you go back and watch how good he was, and it's not like he's in an era where there wasn't any good heavyweights. He boxed everybody there's to box, and he just battered them. Obviously, Rackman he didn't prepare well, but you look at the rematch and his boxing ability, his flow, he was unbelievable. One of the best heavyweights of all time. He's up there.
Last one of these: Lomachenko versus Duran. Yeah.
It depends. You know what? I think it depends on the game plan, because on his night, I think Duran's probably pound for pound one of the best fighters that's ever lived. But at the same time, you can say that about Lomachenko. And people discredit him, and he don't get the credit he deserves because of, he's had a couple of losses. Obviously, the first one was against Salido in his second fight, and then against not Campos, what was it? Teofimo Lopez he boxed, and he was injured, and he really didn't show up for the first 6-7 rounds, did he? But if you look at when he was in his prime and he was flowing, he was unbelievable. And I think it'd have to depend on the tactics a lot. I think if Lomachenko was going to beat someone like Duran, he'd have to no-mass him. He'd have to, really frustrate him and goad him, just the way Leonard did in the first fight, in the second fight, sorry. I think that's the only way that he beats him. But that's one that out of all the fights that you've said, I think that's the one I'd pay to see. That'd be where my money went.
Last question, mate, just to finish things up. You had a pretty decent year last year, winning the European title and then stepping up to world level. What's going to happen this year for Jordan Gill? Where do you see yourself at the end of 2023, mate?
I think I'll be back to winning weights. I think I'll establish myself at super featherweight. Hopefully I'll get my grudge match with Isaac Lowe, fill him in, and move back up to world level. I want to fight back. I want to Isaac Lowe fight, and then get another fight at world level to put me right in the mix at super feather where I belong.
Well, mate, as always, I've enjoyed speaking to you. Thanks for your time, mate. I've been Lyndon Dixon. He's been Jordan Gill, and we'll see you on the next one.
Nice one, mate.